Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to an absolutely gorgeous day in the Südtirol in Toblach for the second freestyle sprint of this season. Mike Dixon alongside myself, David Goldstrom, on a course which is very hard, very compact, very quick, and it is just about the only snow in this part of the world. So all looking forward to the competition, and indeed the second week in a row that Andrew Young for Great Britain has qualified for the men's quarterfinals. Well, here we are in Toblach, in the Südtirol, in the Puster Valley, about 70 kilometers northeast of Bolzano, right on the border of Austria. And as you can see, an altitude of just over 1,200 meters, with the last winner here, Ola Viggen Hadderstad, the Olympic champion, and Marit Bjørgen, of course, who is not here, expecting her first baby very, very soon. Well, a very good afternoon to Mike. And Mike, really looking forward to this one.
Oh, very much so, David. And you mentioned Andrew Young, third. Last week he was fourth in the absolute raw time trial early on. And that just shows how the quality of Andrew Young now, and a force to be reckoned with in World Cup world sprinting.
Well, here's a man who's been with us in the world, has sprinted for a long time, and as you can see, one of the men into the early 30s. But Mike, these days, early 30s, that's almost like beginning your career.
Well, we see that more and more in cross-country and biathlon. Experience is rich.
Well, apologies for the lack of sound there, but the women's competition also fascinating, particularly with the victory last weekend of Stina Nilsson of Sweden over the Olympic champion Mika Kaspersen-Faller. Those two are beginning to have something of a regular duel now, and interesting to see whether Stina Nilsson can notch up two wins in a row. Interestingly enough, over the two sprints, they've got the same statistics, because it was Mika Kaspersen-Faller who won in Ruka in the first classic sprint, and Stina who was second, and then vice versa last weekend. So really looking forward to the quarterfinals. The quarterfinal rules the same as they ever were. First two in each quarterfinal go through by right, and then it's two lucky losers out of all the 5 quarterfinals. Back with the women to start in about 5-6 minutes after this. Just after 12:30, and the women warming up here for the quarterfinal stage. Mike Dixon alongside myself, David Goldstrom, and as you can see, kind of pleasant morning, particularly for spectating. But the journey here, very different to the altitude test, Mike, that it was last week.
It is indeed, and it's not unsimilar in terms of profile to the Davos competition, but here it's slightly more curvier. There's this part over the top of the organising, the commentators and officials' cabin here, and that's the only major climb.
And they do the loop twice, and it sort of makes up about 1,300 meters. And here you can see Ersberg for the second week in a row, the fastest of the qualifiers, ahead of her teammate. And further down the list, you'll find when you get down to, 29th place, actually you'll find Stina Nilsson, who didn't qualify so dominatingly this time. 28th actually she is there, Stina Nilsson, 5.96 off the pace. The British lady, who was also trying to qualify, Annika Taylor, who was ruled out with a collision last weekend, unfortunately way off the mark today.
And the men's, there's the front page of the men, and Andrew Young, mentioned earlier, fabulous third, fastest, straight racing. That was the time trial to get your qualification position. And he's opted for Group 5 later on when we pick up in the men's competition.
Now, he has opted for Group 5, as they did last week, but you're not actually convinced totally about going for Group 5.
I totally understand why. It's you get much more recovery time if you go in Group 1 and 2. Therefore, a lot of the big names are selecting Groups 1, 2 and 3. And the theory is it's an easier journey, potentially, through to the semi-final and final. And I really hope we see Andrew in the final.
Is there an easier journey these days?
Not really. Everyone's running it within 4.5 seconds, the top 30. So it's really down to strategy. And this is the draw. This is the athletes' draw earlier in the ranking in which you finish. You can choose whether to go Group 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. As I mentioned, Group 5, Group 4, you get much less recovery time through to the semi and through to the final.
That said, I mean, Andrew Young's 9th place, which was the best World Cup sprint finish by a British athlete ever, was an excellent step forward. What's another good step forward is 2 weekends in a row, now qualified for the top 30. He's definitely into World Cup points. Now he's got to do the same as he did last week, get into the semi-finals.
Oh, and but when you look at his out-and-out sprint race time, he is absolutely world-class. And yeah, let's hope we see him through in the final, and he can rule this competition in from.
Mike, he's a big guy.
He is a big guy, 6'4", a muscly, strong guy. And I remember when he was 14, 15, he was 6 foot tall then, and you saw the potential, you saw the strength, the determination in Andrew Young. And I'm so happy that Roy Young, his father, the whole team have got him up to this place right now.
So this the draw for the first of the women's quarterfinals. A gorgeous morning in the Südtirol. Mike Dixon together with myself, David Goldstrom, as we see the lineup for the first of our women's quarterfinals. First 2 across the finish line by right go through to the semi-finals, plus the 2 lucky losers. As you see there, Jess Diggins, who finished 9th in Davos last week, so got into the semi-finals wearing that red bib there. That's Stina Nielsen. Stina Nielsen, who is equal at the top of the sprint rankings with Micah Kaspersen-Faller. And this is a pretty interesting heat, because they're also in here for Sweden, Ida Ingsmardotter and Heidi Weng for Norway, who's by no means a back number. Heidi Weng right on the far side of your picture.
David, it's frantic. You need to get a good start out of the starting blocks, and that's where the fight is now. We're coming up all flat here for the first 200 metres before the left-hander, and you can see the climb there going up on our left side. And so important, your positioning in this competition. When you're at the back of this group, Jessie Diggins at the moment it's quite difficult, the traffic jam ahead of you, to get through.
And Heidi Weng leading the way. Heidi, who in the first 2 sprints of the season, the first one classic, the second one freestyle, 6th and 7th. She's very consistent at sprints. She's very consistent in the middle distance races as well. And she really has established herself in the top flight of Norwegian women's cross-country racing. And she leads. And she leads ahead of, in the white there over the far side, Stina Nielsen, and you've got the tall figure there of Ingsmardotter.
Brave move from Ida Sargent there, taking the best line on that left-hander.
Yeah, another tall athlete with long levers. Coming round, having completed the first loop, going over this bridge. Good atmosphere from the crowd, and everybody's alive in this, including one woman we haven't mentioned, Sandra Ringwald, who was the fastest qualifier. She's just out of your picture wearing a new race outfit for Germany, but this is all about Sweden at the moment, and Stina Nielsen determined to capitalise on what has been a great start to her sprinting season.
Very much so. I view this, David, as not unsimilar to a 400-metre running track. If you imagine the sprinters going around that, but it's twice, throw in a few hills, a tiny bit longer, but they've got 2-metre skis at the end of their feet, so the traffic jam is the issue. The tactics are everything.
Yeah, that was almost a mistake there by Jess Diggins. She was right back on her heels, and Jess Diggins in second place in the dark outfit there, 11. Ingsmar Dotter in third place, then Heidi Weng in fourth place, dropping down the hill now. And this is a real sprinter's course, and interesting. Do you want to be out front? But Stina Nielsen, she's got so much confidence at the moment.
Very much so. Ringwald, Sandra Ringwald, the fastest out and out earlier today, is at the back of this field. It just shows what strategy does.
Watch for Heidi Weng on the outside there. She's keeping out of traffic problems, although she is going the longer way round. And remember, it's the first two across the line. But Stina Nielsen last weekend, she showed that she's got an extra gear. And look at this, 11 on the far side there. Ingsmar Dotter, Stina Nielsen coming through with Heidi Weng. And it's those two with Sandra Ringwald just behind in a photo with Ingsmar Dotter of Sweden. But I think Ringwald, I don't know, Ringwald might have just got that. The time 2:49.7.
Well, there is, even if you're in fourth or fifth place coming into the final 100, David, well, Ringwald showed that. I said she was sixth with 200 to go, and there we have a photo finish. Whether she's third or fourth, it may well be one of the faster qualifying heats.
Yeah, it's a bit true to form there, because last week Jess Diggins finished 9th, Ringwald was 12th, and Ingsmar Dotter was 10th. So Ingsmar Dotter at the moment favoured to get that faster place, which of course will depend whether she has a chance of a lucky loser.
Well, there they go. It's so important to get off this grid as fast as you can. So double poling, short, sharp, double poling power. And then the momentum, you need to carry the momentum, and Heidi Weng benefited from that as Ida Sargent comes on the inside on the first lap over the top of the buildings.
I think you've also got to have something in the tank for this finish here, because it's not that far, it's just over 100 metres, but you need a little bit of extra towards the last 100 here to make sure that you get into a qualifying position. And I can't really see Ingsmar Dotter, so it's a bit difficult to see who lunged across the line in third place. And it's Sandra Ringwald, I thought it was.
Pretty good. That's from 6th to 3rd in the final 105
They've got the same
metres.
time, but she's been given the third place. So 0.57 is the difference. And there is the confirmation. And just flashing there, you can see the two women after this first quarterfinal. That's the lucky losers, or those are the lucky losers up till now. So straight on to quarterfinal number 2, and Maika Kaspersen-Faller of Norway, the Olympic champion, ahead of Sophie Koldvald, who was second fastest amongst these. Now Kaspersen-Faller was Kaspersen-Faller was second last weekend. Sophie Caldwell was 6th last weekend, so they meet again in the final. And Lorian van der Graaf for Switzerland, she was 13th, so she didn't quite make the semi-finals. So Kaspersen-Faller, and then wearing 10 there, Sophie Caldwell for the United States. The United States have got a good group of women sprinters, and they showed up well right in the beginning of the season at Gällivare, their well-being. They're going to be a real force, I think, in years to come.
Very much so. Great team spirit as well in the American team. And Sophie was just saying last weekend in Davos, she did get through as a lucky loser in these heats and from the semi-final into the final. And again, she's in Group 2. It was Group 1 last week.
So away they go. And apart from Faller and Caldwell and Laurent, we have Natalia Matveyeva of Russia, who has one World Cup victory to her credit, and that was way back. I mean, it's more than 10 years ago, and that was in Dusseldorf in the showcase sprint, and she's leading this race there now. Nadine Fendrich of Switzerland in here, Greta Lawrence of Italy also amongst this group of 6.
I think Fandrich, she needs a special mention. Only 20-year-old, first outing at World Cup, and so a huge day for the young and talented Swiss girl. Matveyeva, you mentioned David Dusseldorf. I remember back then, and I think we thought she was going to be dominating, or certainly in the top bracket of sprinting, but done so little since then. Good to see her at the front now.
Yeah, she's reasonably consistent, and certainly freestyle much better than classic for her. But yeah, you're right, she hasn't hit the heights in what we thought, but then we've come to realise that Dusseldorf was never really a very difficult track. It was more of a showcase for the sprinting sport, which was appropriate at that time.
Yes, it was. It brought the sprinting to the forefront, and to have led now for 1:30, Matvieva, she's beginning to struggle, beginning to suffer at this pace.
Yeah, and Erzberg going to the front there, and she had a 1-2 last weekend in Davos. In the sprint she was second, but of course she really is a force to be reckoned with also at middle distance races, so a really, really good performance. Fella wearing 2 on the right of your screen there, 13, Matvieva, 30. Right behind there is Lauriane van der Graaf in the black race suit, and also breaking away there, Sophie Caldwell. So 4 away.
4 away. The display that Fala showed us there, David, I think that's her strength in sprinting. She can change into this high tempo gear and just up her tempo and go from 3rd into 1st rather quickly.
So Fala, the Olympic champion, who finished 3rd in the overall sprint rankings last season behind the absent Marit Bjørgen, now being chased here. But you can see there, she really accelerates beautifully off that turn, doesn't she? And she gives herself a chance. Matvieva to the right, and to the left there is Sophie Caldwell as they come towards the line there. And Fala's done enough, and then a lunge and a photograph for Caldwell. In 2nd place, Van der Graaf and Matvieva, 2:47. This is a considerably faster quarter-final, and that means that the likes of Van der Graaf and Matvieva have got a real chance of taking over the lucky loser spots for the moment.
Absolutely, that was so impressive from Caldwell there, Sophie Caldwell. She hit that final 100 with huge aggression, force, and comfortably through to the next round.
Yeah, Sophie Caldwell, born in Peru, but not Peru, but Peru in the United States, 25 years of age, and that's really the strength of the American women's team. They're all now coming into their mid-20s, they're all maturing, and when you've got such a strong force of 5, 6, 7 women, which they've got, it tells you that, 2 years from now in the Olympics in Korea, they could be a real force in sprinting and some middle distance races.
Very much so. And Sophie Caldwell, her family background, her uncle, I raced alongside her uncle Tim Caldwell in the early mid-80s.
She's got a personal best, by the way, of 3rd in Lahti in a freestyle sprint, not last season but the season before. And there you can see how close it is for 3rd place, but in fact Matveva's got it from Van der Graaf, but they are definitely, as you can see there, just flashing there, they now hold the 2 lucky losers places, but still 3 quarterfinals to come. Gorgeous afternoon as it is now. Interesting that we're in Toblach before we come back to Toblach, Mike, for the Tour de Ski.
Yes, unusual, isn't it? And but always a wonderful venue, and of course tomorrow the distance races, classic 10 and 15, 10 for the women, 15 kilometre for the men.
Good warm-up for the Tour de Ski. Hannah Kolb, of these 6, she was the fastest in 2:50.63. The fastest qualifier today was Sandra Ringwald in 2:51.80, so quite a difference. Hannah Falk there, who was 5th last weekend, and Hannah Kolb, who was 14th last weekend. Parmakoski for Finland in the bluish and yellow outfit. And then Lucia Anger for Germany, Vesna Fabian and Polina Kovaleva for Russia.
Fabian, good start. Remember, she is the Olympic bronze medalist, and that's the freestyle sprint.
Yeah, there's 2 outfits with a bit of blue and yellow. The real yellow is still the Slovenian race suit.
The loud and luminous yellow.
Yeah, well, hey, I always think that's a good choice, at least your fans can find you easily.
Absolutely, yeah, there's so many suits which you can get a little confused with.
And this is Polina Kovaleva of Russia, who's going forward very quickly and taking the lead. Kovaleva, who I think this is quite interesting that the Russians are taking this view of the course here. We saw it with Matvieva, didn't quite come off. She's only 22, And this is a young woman who was 6th a couple of years ago in the Junior World Sprint Classic final, so a little bit of promise there. She also competed in the Under-23 Classic final last year in Almaty when she was just outside the top 15, but only 22.
It's good, and Matvieva earlier, so it shows they've got their waxing spot on, the ski selection spot on, the Russian team, but it's still some way to go at only 1:30 out of what, a 2 minute. This will be a 2:48 heat, I think.
Lucia Anger for Germany now taken over from Oberstdorf. She's only 24 years of age and actually tasted Olympic experience in Sochi when she just failed to make the 30. She was 31st. How tough is that? So, leading up front here, Germany, and then you can see Fabian on the right of your screen, and on the left of your screen here you got Parmakoski for Finland.
And I'm surprised, David, at the back here, Hannah Falk playing no part in this. She just, well, she's way off the pace at the moment. I thought she would be contending up with the top 3, ready to attack into the final straight. But when you've got detached, you're detached by 20 metres, very difficult, impossible almost to come back.
Yeah, Parmakoski, who last weekend in Davos at a little more altitude, was in 18th place, but you can see there she's skipped into 2nd place, and Fabian only in 4th place. So coming to the business end of this race here, and look at this, Parmakoski on the right of your screen, and well, it's going to be bib number 4, and that's Hannah Kolb coming through to take the win from Parmakoski, and 2:48.6. This is slightly slower than the previous heat, and I would say that the other two, Matvieva and van der Graaf, have still got a chance. From heat number 2, Matvieva and van der Graaf still got a chance to go through.
Well, this is where it really begins to hurt in the legs up over the bridge, and then it's a little survival. The mind powering Kolb across the line.
Yeah, noticeable there, Germany with 2 athletes in the first 3. That's pretty good, and it just also underlines that at least the sprinting division for Germany's women, they are actually finding talent.
Big improvement, and Ringwald, of course, 3rd in the first heat, and that was a very fast heat. She may well get through as a lucky loser, so without a doubt looking much stronger, and have been developing and working so hard to bring the women sprinters to a higher level.
Yeah, good for Finland that Parmakoski's through, and straight on to quarterfinal number 4, Ingvild Flugstad. And I think I said earlier that Sandra Ringwald had the fastest qualifying time. Of course she didn't. It's just that they can choose which heat they go in, and that slightly confused me to the old fashion. It's 2:49.45 for the 2nd week running. She is the fastest qualifier. That's why she's got bib number 1 before anybody bothers to send us an email or call in. And Sweden, noticeable Sweden, with a real large group of young women coming through in the sprinting division.
Very much. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 making it through into the top 30.
Sadie Bjornsson in here for the United States, but Ersberg stands out. You know, she was 4th in the first sprint, in the classic sprint in Ruka, part of the triple, and 3rd last weekend in Davos. And prior to that, I think it was the Lillehammer weekend that she had a really good set of results as well. So she's really in form. 25 there in picture. That's Harsem for Norway. Shapovalova of Russia. She wears bib number 27. Didn't qualify last week in Davos.
Well, the starter is holding them for an age.
Yeah, that is wicked.
Nervous tension. Waiting to react to the gun.
Oh, this is unkind. They got some sort of mechanical problem.
I think
you should ask them to step back.
Definitely. Well, they've been in position 30 seconds.
Come on.
It's the longest hold we've seen for a very long time. Usberg, it's a good and clean start from her. And Usberg, her out-and-out straight track time, David, when there's no traffic, the time trial, as you said, 2 weekends in a row, she's had the fastest time. She gets a little stressed, I think, when she's in this tighter pack and racing with those so close beside her and around her. So she's wanting a clear track out the front.
Yeah, she was second in Davos last weekend in the 15-kilometer freestyle, her best ever 15-kilometer performance, and third in the 1600-meter sprint there. So it was a great weekend for her, really. And she has no fear of leading, but she's very honest about the fact that, you know, she does take the risk of running out of gas if she gets into the final. And that's really what happened last weekend.
It was, but a lot of the athletes did say, racing at 1600 meters, you were okay the run out, you were okay into the semis, then your legs began to feel so heavy and leaden as you got through to the semi and especially the final. And it's still significant altitude here, David, 1250 meters, about what, 14% less oxygen here than at sea level.
So chasing her up here, you've got Sadie Björnsson for the United States of America. Yet another American. They'll be absolutely delighted, the Americans, the way they qualified today. And Björnsson just being eclipsed there by the Norwegians, Harsem going into second place. Sadie Björnsson from Anchorage in Alaska, same part of the world, of course, as Keegan Randall, who, like Marit Bjørgen, is looking rather large at the moment and just about to expect her baby as well. But she was in Davos, bright and smiley. And there you can see Caldwell on the left, well, you could, and now 25 chasing up there.
Well, this is the first time, David, we've seen from the gun a leader taking it to this point. It's only been Usberg out the front since the start of this one.
Yeah, and the Russian Shapovalova has been sent to the back of the field at the moment. These two Norwegians, this is the most Indian file we've seen in any of the quarterfinals.
Usberg has stretched this, she's made them hurt so much into the final bends, and she's bought herself that space, that freedom that she likes at the front.
Yeah, so round they come towards the finish. Björnsson wears 6. Maja Dahlqvist of Sweden wears bib number 5, so she's not out of a third place challenge. Caldwell on the left there, but a little cheeky there by Usberg. Harsem, good effort from her. She's in a photo with Björnsson, but I think she probably just got the better of that. And 2:47.3, exactly the same time as the second quarter-final. Now, this is quite interesting in respect of lucky losers. We just have to wait and see how close the differentials were. You can see Caldwell on the far side, and for me, her foot is ahead, and she's going to get third place.
Great effort. That was a phenomenal effort in the final 50 meters to secure that position. I think it is a clean qualification for Björnsson. Well, pretty good going. The double polling power to take Usberg to the front. And I must say, David, it's a tough journey to lead this sprint. We won't see many athletes today leading from the word go until they cross the finish line.
Yeah, Usberg is a remarkable athlete. She came to fame really through the junior ranks, where she gobbled up something like 3 gold medals and under 23 gold, and then took her just a while to make the transition. She's now 25 from Gjøvik, and now with Marit Bjørgen on the sidelines, capitalising.
It's almost given her freedom, hasn't it? Take Marit Bjørgen, the dominant force in sprint and cross-country racing, take her out of the formula, and it's allowed others to breathe.
Well, she's the Olympic silver medalist, you know, behind Maika Kaspersen-Faller. I mean, she's already achieved a huge amount there. Sadie Björnsson into, I did say, actually I said third, I was wrong there. She got the better of Harsem. Now, it's a question now of lucky loser places, because 0.34, I think that beats .34 would beat that. Anyway, let's concentrate on Lynn Sumsker, the fastest of the 6 in this final quarter-final, so to speak, up against Alenka Shebashek of Slovenia. Here's Lynn Sumsker, 16th and 21st in the 2 sprints of the season so far. And then 12 in picture there, Shebashek of Slovenia. Mari Id of Norway in here as well, with Kilonen of Finland, and Denise Herman. Watch out for her, she hasn't hit form yet. She was only 20th in Davos, and Gaia Vurik of Italy completing the 6.
So double polling, it's a short track to just secure your position off the grid and then straight into the skating action. Vurik, well, home pressure, or maybe home benefit, you could say. She has shown us in the past, David, she is a real threat and a potential to get through into the final. This
will be interesting to see whether she can move forward. I mean, she hails from a different part of Italy, from Predazzo, and again, mid-20s, but remember, she was as good as 7th in that Sochi Olympic final, Gaia Vurik.
Yeah, just unlucky, just getting her strategy a little wrong.
She wears 22.
Sumsker, given the respect, wearing the lowest bib, therefore the fastest in the qualifying. They've allowed her to take this one up the first hill.
Picking up the speed down here.
It's a good speed, and this is decent recovery, so you can attack the first 50 seconds hard, and then you get some 10-15 seconds semi-recovery. At least you can get your breathing back under control. The legs will be quite sore now after a minute 10. So, the second of the climbs, you need to carry some pace in here to allow the drive up into this hill, and then the gear change from skate 2 to skate 1.
So Sumsker, and being chased there by Anne Kilonen. Kilonen actually 22nd and 25th in the opening 2 sprints of the season, but she's, you know, she's a seasoned campaigner, isn't she?
Well, we haven't seen 2 years ago. She was quite dominant. You could always believe in her to make the final, but she seems to have lost her that aura just a little. And well, she's proven me completely wrong. A little tangle there with Sumsker on the inside. Oh, and down she goes.
Yeah,
that's her out of it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't recover from there. 12 in picture. That's Shebashek of Slovenia. 22. I was talking about her before. That's Gaia Vurik of Italy. And, well, there's nothing you can do.
There's not, her Kilonen, her basket has broken off the carbon fibre pole. That's why she was continually tripping up after the fall.
So, Lynn Sumsker, this is really good, isn't it? You know, she's not exactly one of the young group. She's 26 years of age and no particular medal performances. She's just graduated. She's just found the strength now.
Very much. But David, she stood so high in the glide there. The tuck position wasn't very low. It allowed the rest of the field to close her down. But I think she's got the strength to get through this one.
Yeah, perhaps a little inexperienced, and coming after her there for Germany, Denise Herman. And Herman into second place, and you can see how slow that was. That's the slowest of the quarterfinals.
Well, absolutely. So only 2 for definite going through, and poor Anne Kilonen, she's just crossing the line now with that broken pole. Gutted.
Well, that does suggest, doesn't it? I mean, I'm thinking that Catherine Harsum of Norway should be through unofficially to the... I'm just having a look at 2:47.
Harsum,
15.
Yeah, Harsum should be from from heat 4. No, sorry, heat 2 was faster. I think we'll see Matvieva and Van der Graaf. I think we'll see both of them. There's Kilonen going down. The left ski pole doesn't have a basket on it.
And you're absolutely right. Natalia Matvieva and Lauren Van der Graaf scrape into the semi-finals. As you see, Lynn Sumsker gives Sweden another qualifier into the semi-finals. Coming very shortly, we have, of course, the men's quarterfinals. But when you look at this from the beginning, Falla, Caldwell, Norway, United States, Cole, Palmer, Koski for Germany and Finland from the second quarter-final, and then Ørsberg and Bjørnsen for Norway and the United States, and Linn Sømskar and Dennis Hermann for Sweden and Germany from the fifth quarter-final by right.
We are ready to rock on now with the men's quarterfinal. Wir gehen weiter jetzt mit den Herren und hier Viertelfinale, die zwei beste automatisch weiter.
So men's quarterfinals to come.
Petter Northug, viermal Weltmeister 2015.
And the figure of Petter Northug along with his teammate Erik Bransdal, two very strong contenders in this first quarter-final. And Simeon Hamilton for the United States with Maciej Starega. Watch out for him. He finished 8th last week in Davos, and he was a very strong starter in the quarter-finals. Representing Poland, Stransval for Finland, and Roman Shard, who finished 11th overall for Switzerland. That was a PB performance from him.
Now the women, David, as we saw going around this track in 2:47, this looks phenomenally slow at the moment. The pace hasn't picked up, and that was because Northug at the front was kind of controlling it. So a slow start, but I think we'll see the fastest men about 20 seconds faster in 2:27. Well, it hasn't picked up at all yet. Reasonably pedestrian. Petter Northug, the Grand Master of strategy, going from first, sliding back into fifth at the moment. But he's got an amazing turn of speed. Can turn it around in an instant. And there's the recovery, so 55, 56 seconds. The women were just starting their descent down that hill at 55.
Yeah, interesting with Petter Northug. I have the impression that he's yet to hit top form. I think he might be thinking of very much the Tour de Ski, because it's one of the main targets in this non-Nordic Ski World Championship season. And of course the inaugural second sort of Tour de Ski, which comes up in March in Canada, which is a new development for the sport. But Petter Northug, closest to you, just brushing through, and Starega of Poland in that sort of bluish suit, just tracking him. In fact, he's dropped back to 4th place, the Pole.
What a brilliant turn of pace as usual from Northug. He was in 5th, 6th position, took the best line into the bridge and went from 5th to 2nd, and now at the front.
Yeah, and the man he took over from was Bransdal there. Erik Bransdal, who can race both ways. He can race from the front, but often does a lot of good work coming late. 29 years of age now, Erik Bransdal, second, but only 10th in Davos, second in Ruka in the classic sprint.
Good skis on Northug. He's pulled back a huge amount of time or distance there. Going wide, not the best line. You want to be on the inside if possible.
Yeah.
But a good clean run now to the home line.
Yeah, Simeon Hamilton on the right there for the United States, but the Norwegians are coming at him. Petter Northug, though, with the explosion, and that is a photo definitely between Hamilton and Bransdal. Bransdal was on the extreme left there, so they were way apart. They couldn't have seen each other.
Well, I think Simi was caught a little sleeping there. As you say, he couldn't see Bransdal, but I hope he hasn't let that one go.
2:32.3, the noted time of the first quarter-final for the men.
But it was definitely Northug. I think that's a slow heat, David. 2:32, that's got to be beaten by some 3 seconds, I think.
Shaking his head there, Maciej Starega. Now, so
I think. Oh no, it's.
Oh, that is very close. Hamilton might.
Yeah,
it's the black boot on the near side, and the Norwegian's boot on the far. I don't know. I wouldn't call that.
I would say it's Simi. Thankfully, I thought he'd backed off just a little too soon. He didn't see Erik coming fast on his right.
Yeah, it was a little indistinct, Bransdal's boot. So.
Oh, they've put Hamilton on the same time. There goes Starega. Sadly, the Polish athlete just taking that tumble.
So Hamilton and Bransdal now is looking for a lucky loser spot. Now, if you're right, Mike, and that was a bit slow, then he's going to be in trouble.
He is. He absolutely is. Left it too late.
So second quarter final coming up here, and of course this includes Federico Pellegrino, who won the Davos Sprint just last weekend, a fourth career victory, and one more, and he's going to be level with the legendary Christian Zorzi, or Zorro, who notched up 5 individual wins, which is the greatest ever achieved by an Italian sprinter. But this man really on absolutely top form here, and of course he is the Olympic bronze medalist. Just thinking, no, he's from Sochi. No, I'm thinking about the World Cup sprint last year. He was 3rd in the overall rankings. But it's Jonsson who was the Sochi bronze medalist, and the last time we had a World Championship freestyle sprint, Jonsson was 3rd in Oslo as well, but he didn't qualify last weekend. So Retikva for Russia, getting away. Pellegrino, Edin for Sweden, Jonsson for Sweden, Glursen for Norway, Emil Iversen for Norway. This is a tough quarter-final.
It is, and Emil Jonsson deciding to start it faster. I'm sure this is faster than the previous heat, so they may well get down to 2:30. Quite sure we'll see it sub 2:30 though, the fastest heat.
Well, Pellegrino's really the man to watch for here. You can see him there, second from the right, red bib, bobble on the hat, as is the Italian style.
It's Pellegrino, his ability, a little like Northug, to change gear quickly, to completely pick the tempo up in an instant. And you need that on the only two little hills here, but you need that ability to go high frequency, huge limb speed in order to move forward. It's still a little pedestrian at the moment, but it's going to catch fire soon.
So up front, leading the way in this pretty competitive quarter-final, I've got to say, Anders Glursen from Norway, flying the flag on the right of your screen. There's Pellegrino just going into second place. He accelerates with impressive speed, doesn't he? Just lifts up a gear and goes into second place. And the great thing about him is his track craft. What was a real characteristic of his in Davos last weekend was he really came on the scene late.
And I think in Davos, it's one of the few places you can afford to do that. If you go out too hard, you burn up. The Swedes were running side by side in 3rd and 4th, in fact still 3rd and 4th. Thought Jonsson might turn and put another gear change in there, but doesn't have the speed.
If he's got it.
If he's, yeah.
You don't, you have to work and train hard, and then you get that extra sort of turbo gear, but we don't know at the moment whether he's got that. So Glursen leading out here, being shadowed there by Pellegrino, and Jonsson trying to slip up the inside. Risky, but interesting.
The giant of a man, Edin, he went a little wide there, but he might come back.
Retikva in wearing 4 there, trying to come through as well. But at the moment, you can see Pellegrino's got the legs of everybody.
Oh, 27, 2:27.
And good finish there by Retikva of Russia. Did what he had to do when it mattered most. And 2:27, as you said, Mike, that is considerably quicker.
I thought we may well see it as fast. We might even drop into 2:26. But that looked very, very casual and easy from Pellegrino. He didn't get too worried too soon. Had all the gear changing when he needed to, and looked pretty effortless coming to the line.
Yeah, Retikva, what was it, about 4 years ago, he got a bronze medal in the Junior Worlds. That was in Classic, but that was the first time he really came to note. Last weekend, didn't qualify, was outside the top 30, so that's a big turnaround for him. And in terms of personal best, that's the man who's crossed the line in second place there for Russia, the tallest of the field. 5th place in Lahti back in 2013 for Gleb Retivki of Russia. Glursen in 3rd place there. So they got the lucky loser spots, the Norwegian and the Swede. But I thought the finish of Retivki was actually pretty impressive.
It was a great turn of pace. What it means as well, David, on the heat number 1, Eric Bransdal will not go through as a lucky loser.
So here's the man who qualified in the time trial earlier, heading the top of this list here, Finn Horgan Krogh, and of course he was the winner of the World Cup last year, but here is the man who won the World Cup last year and leads this year's overall World Cup, and it is of course Martin Jonsrud Sundby. He was 14th in Ruka in the classic sprint. He's done really well to get into this. It'll be interesting to see his tactics. Will he go out hard and try and control? Here's his teammate, the World Cup defending sprint champion, Krogh. And I find this a fascinating battle, but also in here we've got Tagbol and also Ustegov and Dario Colonia, both brothers involved in the competition. Just a reminder that Andrew Young, Great Britain, goes in quarterfinal number 5.
Just looking at the start, David, I'm expecting, I know his track time wasn't good earlier, but Ustegov, when leading in Davos last week, he took a fall on the, more than halfway around the course. I thought he'd be wanting revenge this weekend, but starting very easy from the gun.
Yeah, I thought that start was a little tentative, to be honest. Nobody seemed to want to do much. And it is Finn Krogh who's on the right of your screen there, who's in the lead, being chased by Tagbol, wearing 6 there, and also Jonsrud Sundby. He's in about a share, well, he's 5th at the moment.
I think, David, on the start line, they will have all done their maths, realising that the previous heat at 2:27 was an incredibly fast heat, and that really you're only guaranteed to go through if you're in the first 2 in this heat, unless some brave athlete, Krogh at the front, sets a phenomenal pace, but it's not there yet, the pace.
Well, they are really well spread out, though. You've got to say that. And Finn Krogh, at the moment, leading them quite convincingly at the moment, I would say.
Yeah, it's certainly picking up now. This 112 going into the base of the largest of the climbs over the buildings, the race office. And now the tempo is really picking up. Bib number 2 there, Yilai. Good run out earlier, wearing bib 2. Trying to stick with Krogh.
Yeah, Krogh was very successful. He won in classic and in freestyle last season. And really, they're pushing on here. Well, an interesting man is Tagbol in 2nd place. And he finished 6th in the final last weekend. That was a really good result for him. But this man here, Finn Krogh, he can race the distances as well. But Tagbol now going into the lead, and the Norwegians are beginning to dominate this because Jonsrud Sundby is still there in 3rd place. So his chance may have to rest with a lucky loser spot. Who knows? But he's got terrific strength, hasn't he? Look at him cruising up there. Those skis were running so well for the World Cup leader. 3 Norwegians, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, he was kind of, you said his skis were brilliant, David, but he had to go wide because he was catching up so quickly on Krogh, and it's put him out now.
Yeah, Tagbol on the left, and on the right there, Finn Krogh for Norway. They're the 1, 2, and Jonsrud Sundby striving for 3rd place, probably just gets it. And Ulai of Finland coming in 4th place, 2:27.1, and that is actually quicker.
It is.
Because the previous quarterfinal was 2:27.91, so you said right at the beginning, Mike, that they were probably aware how quick that previous quarter was.
Nobody wanted to lead early on, so it was a relatively slow start, and then all of a sudden they knew they had to pick it up to guarantee a fast time.
Yeah, and the ultimate winner, Tagbol, 22 years of age, yet another young Norwegian coming through. And so far, you know, proving that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. His 6th in Davos last weekend was not his best sprint result. That was last season in Lahti when he finished an excellent 4th. But he's knocking on the door for a podium.
He certainly is. And at the back there, Ustegov, he just wasn't at the races, so his form, and that's an indication of his bib, 28th in the trial earlier.
So there you are, and Martin Jonsrud Sundby at the moment is in the semi-finals. At the moment. So, top of the pile here, the Olympic champion from Sochi 2014, Ola Vigen Hadestad, tall, powerful racer. And he may be in his 30s, but he's no back number, that's for sure.
Well, remember that Olympic course, David? He is, as you say, there he is. He's a huge giant of a man. And I thought the Sochi sprint course would not suit him. He worked and he worked on the hills to get his tempo and aggression fast, and he took the gold medal.
Well, he's up against Jovian Hediger of Switzerland, who was 20th in Davos. Andrew Newell of the United States, who just missed the podium in Ruka. He wears bib number 13. And then wearing bib number 15, Bernhard Tritscher of Austria, Simon Persson for Sweden, and Paul Goldberg for Norway, who was very disappointing in Davos. And he might be a little better today, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, you mentioned Paul Goldberg. He didn't want anything of the early pace, just leisurely coming out off the double poling and into last place. He's obviously got a game plan.
Well, Hadestad's the man, isn't he? On paper, every season, you know, you start again, so he might have been Olympic champion a couple of seasons ago, but that counts for nothing at the moment. It's a new campaign. And 22 right up there early, that's Simon Persson for Sweden. Dropping down onto this back straight. As you said, this is one of those moments when they can just get a little oxygen into the lungs.
You need that. The first 45 seconds fairly frantic, and there's your 10-second recovery. Now working through the legs to keep the momentum, trying to get a good inside line is best on the left-hander here. 24 still easy. I think he's going to explode into action soon.
Hadestad in third place. Not only an Olympic champion, but a former world champion if you go back to Liberec in 2009. But Persson still on the left of the picture there, going well. 11, forcing his way. Jovian Hediger, and having a really good run, the Swiss. But is he doing too much too early? That's what I'm wondering when they come into the finish straight. But he's trying to give himself a really good position here. Jovian, mid-20s. And there you can see the lucky loser times. And Jovian Hediger, who was 6th right here 2 seasons ago, and that's his personal best at the moment in Toblach, leading the way and trying to get rid of the rest as he drops down now. The final opportunity just to gather themselves before the left-hander into the finish straight. And it's the man in black, the race suit of Switzerland, who leads the way.
Hadestad tried so hard to get past Persson, but couldn't. On the final climb, finds himself in 4th.
Yeah, and the man who's chasing there is Bernhard Tritscher for Austria in 2nd place. And right to the left there, 22, that's Persson for Sweden. But Jovian Hediger, he took this up a long way out. Is he going to survive? He is going to survive. And Tritscher just does him on the line, but it doesn't matter because he's achieved his objective, which is to get into the next stage.
Well, Tritscher, you said it, he pulled over, and within the final, what, 40, 50 metres, and Hadestad had no chance of coming through, but I thought Hadestad's exit from the final bend, he took the correct racing line, but he got a little bit of a roadblock.
This was a little bit slower at 2:28, so that really doesn't bode well for Hadestad. Look how close that is. And that's quite deceptive, that photograph, actually, because it makes it look as if Hediger actually got it. They put him in a photo, and I'm not sure from that photograph if Jovian didn't just hang on. Initially, it looks as if Tritscher had done him on the line, but I'm not so sure now.
And I'm honestly surprised. I thought Paul Goldberg at 24, I thought he was playing the clever waiting game, but never turned it around.
See, he took it up a long way, some 400 metres out, and Hediger's got it, 2:28.64. And Tritscher will be 2nd, so he goes through by right to the semi-finals. He was confident, wasn't he? He said 1st, and then he said 2nd.
But I'll tell you what, it was a brave run from Hediger. He didn't. He was fearless, took the lead, took the initiative, and it's a good and fast time.
Not really a chance for Persson and Hagestad. They're out of this. They are not in the lucky loser spots. Now, heat number or quarterfinal number 5, Andrew Young, the fastest qualifier in 2:29.97, and he's got some opposition here. Renarget, he was 7th when Andrew Young finished 9th last weekend, and also Fosley. And here is the big man.
Well, good luck, Andrew. You've got the speed, and let's keep it together and get through to the next round.
14, Fosley. Now remember, Fosley's been 1st and he's been 3rd, and Fosley is a serious contender for Norway here. Also in here, Gianluca Cologna, the younger brother of Dario Cologna, who failed to qualify earlier. Risto-Matti Hakola for Finland, and also Anssi Pensinen for Finland. And you can see those two because they're right on the near side, on the left of your picture as we go away.
Well, Renarget had a terrible start. I didn't quite see what happened. I think he got his poles tangled up in his skis, but out last.
Now, the great thing here is that Andrew has actually had a pretty decent start, because you were saying to me that he isn't yet the greatest of starters.
He's not. He had a fine start there. He clearly doesn't want to lead, so he's got an absolute game plan, and great to see that. He's going to stick to his game plan. Didn't want to take the early pace. Bib number 3 comfortably now into 3rd, 4th position. I think this is a good strategy, playing comfortable at the moment, but of course it will pick up. The pace will go dynamic very soon.
Andrew Young, 23 years of age, member of the Huntly Ski Club up in Scotland, but also spends a good deal of time in Lillehammer, just skipping round into a share of 2nd place there, being led by 14, Fosley.
Andrew looks so relaxed there, David, so easy. Clearly the pace isn't hurting him at this moment. And positioned very well on the outside right, or left as we look at it.
Really good rhythm there. It's made a whole load of difference, hasn't it, to allow him to concentrate just on sprinting and forget about doing any middle distance races. This is where his home is.
He's just, and he's so easy, so balanced on his skis. This is his strength, and still looking easy coming into this bend, taking a beautiful line on the inside there, gives him the left-hand line up this hill, and that's where you want to be.
And everybody behind Fosley and Andrew Young really under pressure now. Fosley still with the advantage there. Andrew Young having to just push on a little bit more. Looks like Pensinen of Finland, the better of the 2 Finns, in 3rd place. Now, Andrew Young will be gathering, but you can see he's got, what's he got, 3-4 meters here. Skis running really well. Well done to the service team. And he's actually gained a little bit on Fosley. That was great glide.
He has, and I love the way he just checked the traffic around him. They're not around him, so he's got space, and he's realising that. Will he manage to attack this final bit? Does he need to attack this final bit? So far, so good.
Well, you don't want to take any chances. He wants to be in the semi-finals. Last weekend, he was the first Brit to achieve that.
So easy.
That is cheeky. You can see there his height. He really just dominates this field. And Andrew Young, 3rd quickest in the time trial, and he confirms his good form.
Wow. David, with those good skis, with the ease that Andrew did that, this is looking like a great day. It is a great day so far anyway.
2nd semi-final in consecutive weekends. Well done, Andrew Young. It should change.
Und die beste Deutsche heute mit 4, Hanna Kolbe. Und die Sprint-Weltcup-Führende, die Sieger von Davos, Stina Nilsson, Sweden.
So the first semi-final here of the women, and Micah Kaspersen-Faller involved here. Also looking very, very keen here, Stina Nielsen. And of course, these two diced last season in the World Championship final, which Faller won. Stina Nielsen was 2nd, and they diced last weekend as well. So Stina Nielsen pumping herself up for this as they come forward. And away they go. Kaspersen, Faller, Kolb, Nielsen, Caldwell, Weng, Van der Graaf. Norway, Germany, Sweden, United States, Norway and Switzerland all involved. A real international final. And Stina Nielsen just about in second place as they go out now and start the climb.
Well, it's getting slightly more tense. Certainly from the gun, it's a faster pace than we saw in some of the heats earlier. So important now to get your correct position early on in this semi-final. You want to guarantee that you are through in the top two to guarantee your place in the final. But this is going to be fast, David, without a doubt, with Faller, with Hannah Kolb in there as well.
Yeah, experienced racers, and 2 times around this course to make about 1,200 meters in the whole of the race distance. I think, Mike, you've calculated at 1250, and Norway very strong in here with both Heidi Weng and also Maika Kaspersen Faller, the Olympic champion. Stina Nielsen right up with the 2 Norwegians now, and this is making life very tough for the likes of Sophie Caldwell of the United States, and also Lorian van der Graaf in the black race suit for Italy. And 10 on the back of your screen there, that is Sophie Caldwell. 4 on the extreme left is Hannah Kolb, not in a Swedish white, but in a German suit, a new German suit for the season. But look at this, Stina Nielsen goes into second place, splits the 2 Norwegians. Well, you have to say that the turn of pace that Faller from Norway has to just separate herself with apparent ease. She needs to do the same here again. Nielsen skis looking brilliant to close that 12-meter gap. Heidi Weng in third place, Sophie Caldwell on the left of your picture in fourth place, Maika Kaspersen Faller with that terrific rate there. It's a very high tempo. Stina Nielsen sticking to her ski tails, because Stina Nielsen really relies on that last 100-meter sprint. Very much. She's strong, she's tall, and I think a great effort there from Sophie Caldwell to make sure she's in the hunt now and placing herself in third, a good attacking position. Yeah, Heidi Weng dropped back to fourth place. Maika Kaspersen Faller coming to the finish of the race, the left turn in here, and Stina Nielsen right on the ski tails of Faller, and Sophie Caldwell's there. Heidi Weng not too far behind as well, and Stina Nielsen cuts the inside there. Sophie Caldwell goes to the left, Kaspersen Faller in the centre. She's leading for Norway. Stina Nielsen coming on. She's not out of this yet, because Stina Nielsen always brings something the last couple, but this time Faller is too strong for her, and maybe Faller's learning a little bit about Nielsen now.
Well, Nielsen, and that's Nielsen's a little bit like Northug in the men's field. She reads the track, she reads when to go, and I loved her taking the very tight line out of the final bend.
2:46.
It's fast.
Now, Ersberg was 2:49.45, the fastest in the time trial. That is quick from Kaspersen Faller.
It's really, really quick. The temperature had become warmer, but the sun dropping off some parts of the course.
Yeah, but that's a really stunning performance by Faller, and it just tells you that she's very much in the hunt. She wants to get the red bib back off Stina Nielsen. Maika hails from Lillehammer, Olympic champion, bronze medals at the last 2 World Championships. I mean, she is an absolute out-and-out specialist sprinter. But Nielsen, what's Nielsen going to learn from that?
I think she's got more to give, David. Faller, just the usual terrier, attacking from the front.
Stina Nielsen in second place, goes through by right. Hannah Kolb has to wait and see with Sophie Caldwell whether they could be lucky losers to get into the final.
And I must say, Heidi Weng, David, looked really tired. She was in the fight to begin with, but when it became really serious, she didn't have the punch.
Well, the second of the semi-finals, and you know this could be quicker because we know that Ersberg loves to lead. Sremska also led throughout pretty well her quarterfinal, so this is going to be interesting. Ersberg, Norway, Sremska, Sweden, Björnsson, and Denise Herman. We've yet to see the best from her, but this is a step forward for her this season to be in the semi-finals. And right at the centre of the echelon here, Ingvild Flugstad Ersberg, full of confidence. Sremska, this will be tougher. She won't have it all her own way because Østberg likes to lead. 6 here, Sadie Bjørnsen for the United States. Can she get into the final by finishing first or second? 18 here, the compact Krista Parmakovsky, who fights. She's a fighter, and she comes really late on the scene.
And from Moscow, Russia, 13,
Natalia Matveeva, well, she's in the semi-final. Do I think she'll make the final? No.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
I think there are too many with
Yes.
speed. That's the basic thing. I mean, it's nothing against her, but I think she's in a very tough semi.
It is. So let's have a look. The previous heat was a little slow from the gun, so this is where they could make some of that phenomenal 2:46.31 time back.
See, Matveeva wanted to get to the front, but Østberg would deny her. Lynn Sumska in a share of 3rd place there.
Well, I think you mentioned it before the start. Østberg is predictable. She likes the space and she doesn't like traffic around her. But I think if she will hopefully get through to the final. I think it'll be her undoing if she tries this again in the final. She has to get there first, though.
Interesting, though, looking at Denise Herman, much more positive start. She's much more up with the pace than we've seen recently.
She's very clever when it comes to tactics and was never going to lead it, but yes, putting herself in with a good chance now already.
Yeah, Bjørnsen in 4th place, Sumska of Sweden in 5th, and you can see, look at the glide on Østberg skis.
And lovely position, look, taking all the weight through her knees, so basically not using the legs, just taking the body weight through the knees on the back of the elbow. Now it begins to hurt.
Yeah, so Herman in 2nd place, Matveeva 3rd, Østberg still leading. The Swede, Sumska, in just about 4th place at the moment. There she is, but I think this is going to be pretty tough. Also trying to get into this Sadie Bjørnsen. She wears number 6, but she's still just above. She's gone 4th now. But Østberg at the moment showing a clear pair of heels, and I think this was always in Denise Herman's mind that she needed to keep, you know, as close as possible.
And Østberg was always going to go out fast, always going to lead it, so Herman is in the ideal position right now.
Sadie Bjørnsen as well, pretty good here, taking a slightly different track. You can see this artificial snow now being warmed up, chopping up a little bit there. Right on the outside, 13, Matveeva, and Parmakovsky at the back, but not yet involved at all. And she's a long way back to get involved now as Østberg. Now, what Østberg needs to do is to win this semi as easily as possible. She needs to save every bit of energy she can.
If she can, she's got clear space at the moment, but Herman coming in closer. Østberg gets absolutely exhausted at the front, having taken this hard pace till now, 2:32 in.
Yeah, so Østberg, Herman, and then after that Caldwell right behind, but on the left there, coming quickly, Sumska of Sweden. Østberg gets it. Oh, do you know, Herman's got done. Has Herman now? Herman almost relaxed, thought she was there, and Sumska's come up, and there's a 3-way photo, including Matveeva and Bjørnsen. Well, welcome back, and here's the results. And as a result of that, Denise Herman and Hannah Kolb, they're both through as lucky losers. But I tell you what, Mike, Denise Herman's lucky. She went to sleep.
She thought it was all over with, what, 2-3 meters to go, and I thought it might have cost her an opportunity for the final.
There's your, look at that, isn't that nicely balanced? 2 for Norway, 2 for Sweden, 2 for Germany in the final. And that comes a little bit later. But first, of course, we've got 2 semi-finals from the men. And this is the lineup. Peter Northug in the first of them. Federico Pellegrino, I'm going to be really surprised. Big shock if he doesn't make it through to the final.
He looked so convincing, didn't he, earlier?
He's looked now commanding when he stands there. And Tagbol for Norway. By the way, in the second semi-final, Peter Northug here. This is pretty tough here for Gleb Retivki, who finished very strongly, quietly impressive, I thought, in the quarterfinals. 60, Simeon Hamilton, and Hamilton for the United States. Really good to see him vying for a final place. Andrew Newell, his lights went out earlier on in the competition, and Matti Ullai of Finland.
This is some semi-final, David, with bibs 2, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So the out-and-out pace, they showed that earlier in the qualifying today with the low
Ullai,
bibs.
by the way, closest to you, was 4th in last weekend's final in Davos. So don't rule him out.
Now, who's going to be brave? Retvik looks like it is, but soon to be taken over. And Hamilton, and we mustn't discount, well, wasn't discounting anyone, but Hamilton has showed us, remember, in the Tour de Ski, he won that sprint competition in, I think it was Lenzerheide. And he made it look easy.
Andrew Young goes in the next semi-final. So up the hill comes Togbol of Norway. Togbol, who's tussled with Andrew Young last weekend and finished a decent 6th, so an improving racer for Norway.
He was a little restless there with a relatively slow pace at the start, so Togbol straight to the front.
In 3rd place there, that's the Russian, and that's Gleb Retivki, just hunting, and he's just gone into 2nd spot there. They'll all be aware that they've got to be close enough for the final sprint. And also on the outside you saw the American Simeon Hamilton, and he's just lost a couple of positions, and also losing position there, Matti Ullai under pressure. And up front now it's Togbol turning the screw.
We haven't mentioned much about Northug, David, and he's 5th position at the moment, but he surely, with his master strategy plan, is going to start coming through now.
And there's Pellegrino in 2nd place, just moving up. He's tactically pretty smart, and I have to say, Northug is having to work extremely hard. Look how bent over he is, and he's finding this really hard, but you can see Pellegrino just finds the gears pretty easily.
He finds those gears, but Northug, we cannot write him off. He's just ready to pounce. He's hunting well, and he's going to close this gap. He'll take the inside line and far left as you come into the final 100.
And then Pellegrino goes out there and starts to really race, and also Togbol on the inside. Right behind there, 16, that's Simeon Hamilton for the United States. And then the Russian, Retivki, and and that is Retivki down, and it is the man out front, Pellegrino, and Simeon Hamilton on the left there trying to hold off the Norwegians. And that was close. Northug, Hamilton. And Northug in a photo with Togbol, the 2 Norwegians, but Hamilton has got into the final for the United States. That is a great job, but Pellegrino, impressive.
That was so impressive. I'm not sure that that's going to be the fastest of the 2 semi-finals, so an opportunity now for the 2nd semi-final, but they're going to have to go from the gun. It was relatively easy from the gun this time, and 2:29 surely can be taken to 2:28, 2:27 even.
That's a very good race by Simeon Hamilton from Aspen. I mean, really, really good. And I'm just trying to see, that's a personal best. He's in the final. He's never been in a World Cup final before in his life, so huge step forward. He's been in the semis, never in the finals. So congratulations to Simeon Hamilton. He's 28 years of age. He's been to Sochi. He was in the Falun World Championships last year, but this is an opportunity for him to have a very special day.
Yes, he certainly got everything right. Well, remember, there was the stage, the Tour de Ski stage, where Simi took the title on that day, so that was in Switzerland. I think it was a couple of years ago. And a great turn of pace, keeping him comfortable there. Petter Northug, just confirmation there, he has taken the 3rd. It was a photo finish with his teammate Togbol.
Yeah, the great thing about Simeon, he was actually 14th here a couple of years ago, but you know, again, Toblach, a happy hunting ground for him. It's a much I know it's got these couple of climbs in, but it's a relatively flattish track, isn't it? I mean, it's not so demanding. Anyway, enough of that. Now on to Andrew Young, and you won't really have seen many, if any, easier qualifiers from a quarterfinal to a semi than Andrew Young. So we've got our fingers crossed now. He needs to get into the final. If he gets into the final, then he will have created yet another personal best. This man at 1,600 meters of altitude last week, 9th. And now up against Finn Kroll, the defending Sprint World Cup champion, quickest man in the time trials earlier in the day. That's not Jonsrud Sundby, wrong graphic. This is Finn Hågen Krogh. And this man finding his feet now, Krogh. 11 in picture, Jovian Hediger, really good performance, got a personal best here a couple of seasons ago. And that's confidence for you. He's feeling good about things. Fosley, now remember Fosley was 3rd in Davos, so again ahead of Andrew Young. He was in the final. Andrew couldn't quite make it. And 15 completing it here, Bernhard Tritscher of Austria. So here is Martin Jonsrud Sundby. As if he hasn't got enough World Cup points.
Almost looked like as if he was saying, well, I'm surprised to be here. He's not recognised as the out-and-out sprinter.
No, he's...
But in the semi-final.
566 World Cup points to date.
And nearly 75,000 Swiss francs in his bank account. So...
yeah, everything for him is a total bonus.
It is. And this start, it was always going to be fast with Finn Hågen in there leading the way. And lovely to see Andrew Young slotting in to 2nd place. Yeah, as you said, David, he made that previous, the heat qualifying through to this. He made it look so easy, but it was fast. It was 2:28, and he made it look like a Sunday stroll. Such a strong athlete.
So, I love the way that he and the British team and his dad, Roy Young, who's also his coach, going about things at the moment now, and they're so far reaping the benefit. But let's not speak too early. But he's nicely placed.
Well, look at what's happening here. Finn Hågen Krogh is destroying the field. I know that Sundby and Tritscher had a little tangle there.
Andrew's skis just came up there on Finn very easily, and there's 3 away here. Worth remembering that Pellegrino won the first semi-final in 2:29.58. This is looking fairly quick because Finn did put a lot of pace in early on, Finn Hågen Krogh.
This is a whole lot faster. I thought Heidegger, we saw him pushing so hard earlier, but he can't stay with the pace.
Now Fosley as well in 3rd place there. And so it's Great Britain now, Norway. And isn't that nice to say?
So fantastic to see. And Andrew Young making it look still very, very easy. It just shows the gift that he has, the sprinting gift, the ability to push with ease up these hills.
It's not over yet by any means. Coming up here, look at those long levers. And you can see there the way skis come off the snow, technically very good. He doesn't lift them too high, maintains the contact with the skis.
He certainly does, and now needs pace over this rise. He's going to get the pack closing in a little, or is he?
Well, at the moment, you can see here, it's Great Britain and Norway together. Just need to be careful because Fosley's lurking as well, and Andrew's just a little off balance on that corner there. He's such a big guy.
I think that shows the fatigue in his legs, but beautiful line on the inside for the home straight, and then now he needs to keep it sharp and aggressive to the line.
Yeah, might as well win this one, and he's got Finn Hågen Krogh on his right-hand side, but Andrew Young, well,
beautiful.
He was casual enough, but it was good enough.
It was wonderful.
So Great Britain first in the 2nd semi-final. That sounds good, doesn't it? Wouldn't it be good if he was first in the final?
Well, let's wait and see. But little less recovery time compared to the previous one.
But Mike, 2nd weekend, 2nd consecutive personal best, because he cannot be worse than 6th in the final. So he was 9th in Davos. He now is guaranteed 6th place.
It's magic. It's absolutely brilliant, and such a good and easy looking performance. Destroyed the rest of the field.
And he didn't really lunge, did he? I mean, he didn't. There's a, you know, that's an important part of the track craft as well. You can see him on the far side. As I said, he's not yet one of the quicker starters, but he is better.
I think he had good, clean strategy. He knew that Finn Hagen was going to go out fast, and it was a good strategy to just tuck in behind him.
And I can tell you that Sondre Fosli of Norway, Jovian Hediger of Switzerland are in the finals. They are the lucky losers because 2:28.76 was the confirmed time for the second semi-final. And so Andrew Young, Finn Hagen Krogh, Sondre Fosli, Jovian Hediger, Federico Pellegrino, Simeon Hamilton are all in the men's final. That is absolutely fantastic.
Well, we thought that second heat would need to be faster. They knew what they had to do. The pace was hard. And Peder Northug hasn't made it. He was in the photo finish, but it's a big disappointment for him.
There's the lineup for the final. Don't go anywhere. Women's final coming up. Mike Dixon together with myself, David Goldstrom, for the women's, and a little later the men's final of this World Cup cross-country sprint here in Toblach in the Südtirol, with Britain's Andrew Young already a personal best into his first ever World Cup final, and that comes up right after the women's final. The lineup here just getting ready for this women's final right now. And this is going to be a cracking competition. There's Stina Nielsen, winner in Davos last weekend, looking to make it 2 in a row to enhance her advantage over her World Cup rivals. Denise Herrmann, who went to sleep on the finish line but straight through as a lucky loser, she also goes in the final. The fourth World Cup sprint freestyle race ever to be held here. 19 in picture there for Germany, and 3 also in picture here. This is Lim Sumster, who got through because Denise Herrmann went to sleep on the line. But this is an exciting final, and of course over on the left of your picture, white headband, wearing 2, the Olympic champion Micah Kaspersen-Faller. Is she going to use all her pace early on, as she did? She was absolutely exceptional in the semi-final. But remember, these women, they've done the time trial, they've done the quarters, they've done the semis. The energy is running out. The fuel tank is down on a quarter, and by the end of this, they'll be racing on fumes.
As you say, 4th time now to attack this. It can be a little more tactical this time, though, David. It doesn't have to be fast from the gun. It's not against the clock. It's about first to the line. 2 Germans, 2 Norwegians, and 2 Swedes.
Well, Micah Kaspersen-Faller used to be the youngest winner of a World Cup sprint. Now Stina Nielsen has that. Don't forget Flugstedt Ersberg. Now this is interesting because she ran out of gas in the final last weekend, finished 3rd. She was still pretty happy. Linn Sumsker of Sweden, everything is a bonus in her terms. Looking for a personal best here. Stina Nielsen looking for 2 in a row. She's been mighty consistent in the World Cup. And wearing bib number 4, Hannah Kolb. Experienced racer for Germany, and her teammate Denise Herrmann, who's that little bit taller, wearing bib number 19. Coming under starters' orders, the women's final in Toblach under beautiful blue skies. So quickly out there, Micah Kaspersen-Faller and also Ersberg, and they both like to lead, Mike.
Well, there's the problem. Ersberg, she's going to lead it, and I'm not sure that's her. We saw her fatigue so much, I felt, in the semi-final, but she's gone for the same strategy this time.
And you know, I think Faller and Stina Nielsen will be really happy with that, because they'd like Ersberg to set the pace, and then, you know, as she empties, they take over and have their fight.
Nielsen wearing the red bib, leader of the sprint. I think she's one of the most intelligent finishers. She'll get herself in a good line. That's if she can stay with this pace. I'm sure she can.
And Sumska, well, this is really interesting. She's got absolutely nothing to lose, the other Swede in this. It's a really good performance by her, and she, by making the final here, has already created a personal best, her previous best, the 7th in Canmore, and that was all of 3 seasons ago. But 3 away, and predictably it's the 2 strong Norwegians and Stine Nielsen. And Stine Nielsen standing tall here, but the Norwegians now taking on the Swede, and Kaspersen Faller, in a sense, almost trying to run the sting out of Stine Nielsen on the right of your picture.
Well, an opportunity. Hannah Kolb slowly bringing it back. I thought there was going to be a definite gap there with 3 ahead and the rest behind, but, well, there is a slight gap.
Yeah, Denise Herman at the moment is the one who's struggling at the back there. But Maika Kaspersen Faller realising that Ersberg couldn't actually deliver any more, and that's the point. She realised that they'd reached that point. Ersberg sitting in 3rd place, Hannah Kolb is 4th, Kaspersen Faller on the left of your picture, Stine Nielsen on the right, and it's a repeat of Davos, it's a repeat of last year's World Championships. Maika Kaspersen Faller getting ahead though. Last year in the World Championships, or last season, it was classic. This is freestyle. Down they come. Little bit of glide here, a little bit of respite, but it's the last respite.
I felt that Ersberg, who's led so much in everything we've seen this morning, she's just run out of steam as maybe predicted, but she will not give in.
Maika Kaspersen Faller on the inside there, Stine Nielsen on the outside, and Stine Nielsen knows that it doesn't matter what happened in the quarters or the semis. What matters is right here, right now, in the last 100 metres now. Ersberg coming back on the right side. Kaspersen Faller finding a little bit more, being asked a question there by Stine Nielsen, and it's a 1-2 for Norway. Stine Nielsen is the one who ran out for gas. Ersberg challenged again. Faller gets revenge from Davos.
Well, Nielsen tried to take it wide so that she could cut it sharp and take the right hand as we look down the home straight, or camera-wise we look down her left. It didn't work out. Nielsen got it a little wrong, and well done Ersberg, just surviving her way to the line. Faller was always going to be the terrier, the attack machine, and that worked. It absolutely worked.
Unofficially, win number 5 in the Sprints World Cup for Faller. Well, Stine Nielsen pretty happy, but she's pushed back to 3rd place. And Ersberg, what a great recovery. She learnt something, Ersberg. She learnt she had to leave a little bit in the tank for the finish, and she got the reward of a runners-up spot.
So impressive. The final climb. Well, Ersberg's in the action there in 2nd place, but there was one more lap to go on. Nielsen in it until the final bend, and then she just lost her way a little. And Faller at every point, this is where she guaranteed herself some safety into this all-important final bend. There's Nielsen going wide to try and buy herself an early exit, a sharp left exit out of this bend, but it didn't work. She got it wrong, she got roadblocked.
What I like about Faller is that she's really competitive, isn't she? I mean, she digs deep, she's compact, she really fights for the victory. 2:47.28, and that is a very good victory for her. Lindströmska, personal best for her. Hannah Kolb and Denise Herman for 5th and 6th place in Germany. But once again, these 2 Norwegian women are going to be absolutely delighted. And Stine Nielsen there, 60 points for finishing in 3rd place, and she shows that she's really going to be right on the premises throughout the season.
Yeah, very much, and you just sense the Norwegian girls will try and buy as much time, which gives recovery time into the men's final as much as they can, but they cannot hang around. There is a schedule to stick to. And Faller, well, that'll move Faller to the top of the rankings. She'll be in red the next time around.
So men's final to come now with Andrew Young. That's what we're waiting for next.
Fala delighted to pull that one off. She was in great company with Nielsen, with Usberg. They were all wanting it so much. But maybe just Fala that little bit more, tiny little more power to the line, and to take another victory.
Well, when you're Olympic champion, you want to keep stamping your authority on the field of your opponents, and of course, you know, world champion.
Second, this time first, same three girls. It's going to be quite a season.
Yeah, we're just changing the place on the podium. And I feel really strong today, and after the last race in Davos I was just a few centimeters behind Stina, so to be faster than her today is great.
Congratulations on a very nice victory and a great season battle building.
Thank you.
So Micah Kaspersen-Falla winning ways, men's final coming right up. Andrew Young involved in that.
And for the first time in the final of the World Cup, Andrew Young of Great Britain.
Got the scripts, got the.
So making their way quietly to the line and just getting the mindset settled before the final action. 2 minutes 28 of absolute action as the final race of the day.
Well, Mike, this is the moment. Now Andrew Young finds himself in the final of this World Cup. The guys almost ready to come forward, just a couple of minutes away from the start here. And can Andrew Young, well, now he's in the final, can he get on the podium? There he is, absolutely centre. Nice little smile there. Probably got quite a good, warm inner feeling, but he knows what he's up against here.
He's just looked so composed, David, all morning. Doesn't look fazed by this scenario. He's probably gone through this in his mind so many times. This is where he wants to be, and everything he's done this morning so far suggests this is the place that he owns in this final. Has he had enough recovery time? We'll have to wait and see, but certainly so impressive and phenomenal to make the best 6 sprinters in the world. When they're all here, all the best are here at this World Cup. And Kroche in the same boat. He was in the second of the semi-finals, so a little less recovery time. And Pellegrino there, composed, ready to unleash.
So here we go, the men's final. And Andrew Young, Pellegrino, Krog, Hamilton, Hediger and Fosley. Mike Dixon with myself, David Goldstrom, for this final. They're on their blocks. They're about to be called forward. 9th in Davos last weekend, in the final 6th. New personal best, 3, Andrew Young. Can he pull this off? He's looked superb in the quarters. He's looked impressive in the semis. But now the pressure is really on. Pellegrino, the man who really has been dominating the sprints. It's a tough call for Andrew Young to take on the likes of Pellegrino and also Finn Krogh, defending Sprint World Cup champion. Here they are, the lineup. Simeon Hamilton for the United States in his first ever World Cup final. Jovian Hediger for Switzerland as well in this lineup there. Hamilton wears 16, Hediger wears 11, Fosley for Norway wears number 14. Mike Dixon with the final of the men's sprint here in Toblach.
Well, the build-up, the tension. There's Heidegger. He's done nothing wrong, really. He just faded a little in the previous outing. The energy levels from all these athletes having been semi-sapped already. So they're off, the double poling out of the first 40 metres. And I think it'll be fairly pedestrian this first part, then it's all out attack.
Yes, it is, and Andrew Young slotting in there to just make himself comfortable in amongst the first four. And Andrew Young at the moment sitting comfortably there as they are rather cruising. This is tactical. This is tactical.
Nobody wants to take this one on, David, and it's left up to the fastest in the time trial earlier to take the initiative once again. It's Finn Hagen Kroch at the front. Andrew Young looking comfortable as usual, so comfortable, and now in second, now dropping back to third place. Pellegrino deciding that it's a definite, a positive move up front from Kroch and needs to react to it and stay with it. So the recovery, they're riding about 2-3 seconds slower than the previous heats we've witnessed all morning, but that was against the clock. This time it's against each other. Pellegrino taking it wide, just trying to buy himself some clear space all around him. Andrew Young on the inside line, taking a good line up over the buildings here and making it look so easy. It's not easy, it's one heck of a pace, and Andrew Young there just changing gear into skate one and leaving the field, at least buying himself some position here. Pellegrino to his right. Andrew Young, as he did in the previous, well, the semi-final, taking the lead down this descent. He wants a good line up this final climb. Needs to buy himself some relaxed time through his legs into this final rise. That looks like Hamilton building his way. Hamilton buying his way over on the right side. Andrew Young taking a good line. He's in the best possible position as Pellegrino works his way round on the outside. Hamilton there on the outside as well. Andrew Young just taken by those two, but comfortably in third position at the moment. As much recovery as possible in the final descent. The lead into the final, and most important of the left-handers, Pellegrino as usual finding another little gear change but taking it wide. Andrew Young still in third place. Simi Hamilton taking a good line into the finish. Andrew Young third place, needs to pick up the pace into the home straight. As it is, it's the best ever result for Britain in sprint racing. Pellegrino, as expected, coming in, taking it first. Hamilton, a little difficulty towards the line, but Andrew Young of Great Britain taking third position in a Sprint World Cup. The best ever from Britain, and he made it look so easy. What a fantastic day for the British team. Roy, his dad, has managed this team, has done such a great job of managing the team, and now Andrew Young through onto the podium. Well done, Andrew Young. And the British team, Pellegrino did everything right. And well done to America, Simi Hamilton. At the World Cup, it's his second place. He has had a stage victory in Tour de Ski before in sprinting, but Andrew Young, everybody rooting for him here. And an outstanding performance. Third place, and the field was massive. He didn't have the biggest recovery time going into this final alongside Finn Hagen Kroch. They were in the second of the semi-finals, Fosley as well, but Andrew Young standing tall to get on the podium. 0.84 was second behind. Well, history has been made here today for the British team and for Andrew Young. He has landed. Great Britain has landed on the podium. Well, the Italians can be happy as well. They're at home, and Pellegrino taking the victory is always welcome at home here in Italy. Well, Pellegrino can milk this as long as he likes, and deserves it too, for his fifth victory in World Cup racing, to take him up into those high areas, the big names of Zorzi. He's alongside them now with 5 sprint victories. And is that change of gear that he has, that turn of So Andrew Young congratulated there by his father Roy, and they deserve it. And Simi also being congratulated. That was a fantastic performance. His timing was perfect. He had a slight stumble going into the final 10 meters, Simi Hamilton, but kept it together enough for a silver medal. So Federico Pellegrino taking the first position, 2:29.57, not the fastest. We didn't expect that. It's tactical from the gun to the line. It only matters about your position, and for Pellegrino, you can't do any better than first. Simi Hamilton, second place for the USA, and once again, I've got to keep on saying this, I'm afraid, Andrew Young from Great Britain, World Cup sprint competition. There he is, bib number 3. He set his stall out early. He showed that he had the pace, the third fastest, some 2.5 hours ago in the trial, in the outing, the qualification to get through to the top 30 here today. His teammate Muzzy, 8 seconds off the pace, down in 60th. But today, it's all about Andrew Young, third place on the podium. Hedegaard, 4th position, Finn Hagen Krogh in 5th, and the Norwegians, Fosley, in 6th position. Decisive move at this point, Andrew Young wanting the lead into the final climb, but Simi Hamilton and Pellegrino taking it wide to give themselves an advantage into this, the most important part of the course. And Pellegrino so nearly got it so wrong with that stumble there as he took it wide, but had the pace to take the victory. And there's Simi Hamilton's mistake, which so nearly cost him as well. Pellegrino, Hamilton for the USA, and Andrew Young for Great Britain on the podium today in Toblach. A memorable day for the British team, the American team. And once again, Pellegrino showing how it is done, how to beat the rest with his incredible gear-changing ability, tempo change. Well, there we are, just a look at the points. Fala, as I think we said, ahead of Nielsen now. They were close coming into today, but that all-important victory, giving her the 100 points she so dearly wanted. Further down, Van de Graaf, 13th position. Parmakoski just burning out there today as she went into the final, and Hannah Falk 15th in the ranking. Jessie Diggins 16th, 186 points behind with 44 points. So a chance for us to hear the story.
All right, this is becoming a regular thing. 5 wins now in the last 6 free technique sprints. Your 5th in your career, which ties Zorzi from your country, and you won at home.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I thought that statistically it was so difficult to win today, but I won, and so yeah, I'm very satisfied.
Yeah, you are tied now as the greatest Italian sprinter of all time.
Oh, the road is so high, and now Attestad and Emil are on the road, and so it's so difficult to join them, but I will try to do.
All right, well, I think you can do it. Congratulations on an awesome win.
Thank you to all the public. Thank you. Bye.
Well, the words of wisdom there. As you heard, he is alongside in the history books, alongside the great Cristiano Zorzi, and that's something that he will cherish. And well, I think there's plenty more to come from Pellegrino, born 1989. The 26-year-old has still plenty left in him. Well, just some of the scenes from earlier. The battle on the tracks here in Toblach. And tomorrow, a lot of these athletes, nearly all of these athletes, will be taking part in the distance race, the classic competition. 5-kilometer track, 2 times round for the women, 3 times around for the men. hope you've enjoyed the day, and what a day for the British team and Andrew Young, making history here with his 3rd position on the podium in the sprint competition. Andrew Young from Huntly, a wonderful day with Pellegrino Hamilton alongside him on the podium. Hope you've enjoyed the races, certainly as much as myself and David Goldstrom have, but it's time for now to say goodbye. And hopefully see you again tomorrow for the Distance Classic competition. Goodbye for now.